of course, reminds me of a story. I'm pretty sure I've told this one before. Nick and I, we used to have certain curfews as kids. Nick's my brother, more commonly known as Tasteless from the Gom TV casts. Nick and I used to just come up with games to keep ourselves entertained because, our family didn't want us indoors playing games. So they'd be like, go outside and play. And we'd be outside and we'd be like, we gotta make a game, man. We can't just have no games. We can't just be outside and run. No, none of that. We're not early 30s engineers who finally decide to take a stab at their health and just go out and run because it's the optimum way to lose weight and conserve time and you can multitask. No, screw that, man. It needs to be a game. So we came up with this superhero game where you had 10 life and we each had different superpowers. And you could only, in like a round, you could only use one of these superpowers like X number of times. So, for instance, you could turn your fingers into daggers and emit them at the other person, which was your brother in this. You could emit some knives at him. And if he didn't dodge them by doing something like that, then he would lose 1 health. And we each had like 10 health. You can only, do knife fingers. I think it was like 3 or 4 times. You could pull your eyes out and they'd turn into acid, and then you would like throw them at the other guy. You can only do that once because you only had 1 pair of eyes. And then you couldn't see for the rest of the round. A lot of great ideas is basically what I'm saying. And there was one thing which was like meteors, which is where you call down a meteor and then everybody would die. People are like, wait, what are we listening to? This is a game made by a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old. The meteor would come down and would kill everyone. But you really shouldn't use the meteor that often. That's like not fair. So we invited this guy Trevor from down the street to play with us. And he was 7. And all he did was call the meteor. And we were like, wait, what? You can't do that? And he's like, why not? It's in the rules. Like, well, no! You're wrong. And then he'd be like, knife fingers. And I'd be like, dodge! And he'd be like, you didn't dodge that. And I'd be like, yes, I did. What? This was like my this is like role playing with like a shitty DM. When you're like, all right, I try to lockpick the door. He's like, nah, you don't. Of course I do. I'm a thief. Why would I not try to lockpick the door? No, you're dead. I'm dead. Why? You're dead, Sean. You need to grow up. Trevor was so BM, man. What a jerk. Nick and I, though, I like knife fingers. Nick liked eye acid. We had some pretty intense games after he didn't have any eyes anymore. And then we regrettably had to go in and play the Socrates, which was like an educational learning tool that basically had crossword puzzles, and that's it. When we come back to Funday Monday...